The War Within Me, Part 3. I do not know which was scarier, between apologizing to each and every one of my friends that I had hurt in the past and being out in the world again. Most of my friends accepted my apology, some did not respond to me when I reached out, and the rest told me where to get off. I did understand where they were coming from. For years, I had ignored their advice. I had promised to get clean, then disappointed them soon after, and soon, no one wanted anything to do with it. But at least I had two people who understood where I was coming from, and who I could talk to. Kyrian was truly an angel, sent to help me. He supported me as I looked for a job. His roommate was out of town for some months, and he had agreed to let me stay in his room. On the other hand, Sam checked up on me every day until the day of our date. He inspired me every day to be a better man, and I was grateful for that. I wanted to be just like him soon, with a stable job, clean and in control of my life. On Saturday morning, Kyrian woke me up with a very loud knock on my door. He was so hyperactive that I never got a break. It was better than how he had been the first time I saw him. Before his accident, he had been playing football in different clubs. Because of what happened, he could not play for a while. Now, he worked out daily and had energy that I could not even begin to fathom. But I love my best friend anyways. "Go away," I groaned as I put the pillow over me. I had slept late talking to Sam. The hours had flown past and I was surprised to see that it was early morning by the time I went to bed. "No, you have to get ready. Your date is in a few hours. You don't want to keep Sam waiting, do you?" He persisted. At the mention of Sam, I got up really quickly. I checked the time and it was nearly noon, which meant that I had 3 hours to get ready, which was too much time. I wonder why Kyrian was busy knocking on my doors if I had 2 minutes left. "You have to get a girlfriend," I mumbled as I walked past him. He chuckled and started talking off my ear. "Dude, I have more than 3 hours till my date. Why did you wake me up?" I grumbled as I made my cereal. I was starving. "I know, but I'm on my day off and I was bored. I know I could have played video games, but I don't feel like it. Besides, I want to talk to you about something," he said. "What's up, bro?" I asked. "I was asking around and a friend of mine says that there's a vacancy at the store he works. They need you for an interview on Monday," he said. "My god, thanks, man. I have no idea what I would do without you," I said. "You would be utterly hopeless, especially in love," he smirked. "Big ego," I chuckled. 3 hours later, I was at the small restaurant that Sam had suggested we meet up at. As I waited for him, I ordered some water. My phone would not stop buzzing with Kyrian asking me 50 questions per minute. I resolved to set him up with someone because he clearly had too much time on his hands. When I saw Sam, my breath caught. It was my first time seeing him in anything other than the plain clothes at the center. I could not take my eyes off him, nor could I stop my heart from beating so fast. "Hey you," he said. I stood up and gave him a brief hug as I greeted him. I had forgotten how natural it felt to touch him. We took our seats and ordered some food while we engaged in a bit of small talk. I had been so afraid that the spark that I felt between us would not be there, or worse, he would not show up, but it seemed like I was worried about nothing. Sam was wickedly smart, and he knew a lot of stuff that I did not. He had spent the years that he was sober learning different skills to better himself. Besides working at the center, he had a small business on the side. He was actually filling in for one of the workers who had gone on a maternity leave, which I was surprised to find out. With the empathy and knowledge that he had displayed when I was there, I believed that he had been doing it for years, but I was wrong. "Trust me, after getting in and out 3 times, you learn a lot," he explained as he dug into his food. "And what do you do for fun?" I asked him. "Well, I told you before, just volunteering, watching movies, nothing too interesting," he said. "I'd like to see you sing karaoke," I said, and I have no idea where that came from. Nowadays, I found myself saying the silliest things to him. "You're random," he laughed. "And you love it. Admit it," I smirked. "I cannot deny it. I like your randomness," he grinned. We finished eating and had a bit of a walk around town. "Where did you grow up?" I asked him. "I was born in Italy, actually, but we came to this town when I was 14, so I guess I've been here for more than a decade." "I'm surprised that we never met," I said. "Me too. But do you think things would have turned out differently if we had met?" he asked. "I do not know. Maybe, maybe not," I sighed. "I have a thing for small shops, the ones filled with antiques, tucked away into corners that no one goes to. So I took him to those places, and we talked a lot, about our lives growing up, and the hopes and dreams that we had in the past. I did not want the day to end. I wanted to spend the whole day talking to him and getting to know him. I was interested in every little fact he told me about himself, which only drew me in closer. At the end of our date, he let me know that next week he would finish working at the center, so he was moving back into town to focus on his business. Of course I was excited, because that meant we would get to spend more time together. The next week, I had my interview, and I passed. Most places that I had applied to did not want to take me because of my past, but they put me on 3 months probation, which was better than nothing. I officially became Kirian's roommate since his roommate never came back from where he had gone. In between work and socializing with friends, I hung out with Sam. The chemistry between us was undeniable, and it developed every day. As I got to know him, I began to trust him more. He was an honorable man who was living proof that one can turn their life around after hitting rock bottom. One night, I went straight to his place after work. I brought him some food because I knew that he had not eaten all day. When he got hyperfixated on something, it was next to impossible for him to do anything like eat. I managed to get him to leave his work for a few minutes and at least eat something. "I have no idea what I did to deserve you," he said as he dug into the food. I smiled as I watched him eat. He had no idea that I was the lucky one. After he finished eating, we cuddled on the sofa for a while. We had our first kiss a few days prior, and I had not stopped thinking about it. It had been everything I had hoped for, and much more. It also made me realize that I'd wanted him, and him only. I wanted to become exclusive with him. Knowing me, it took me a while to find the words to tell him that I wanted to be official with him. But that felt like the right moment. "Sammy," I began. "Yes, dear." "Will you be my boyfriend?" I said very fast. He shifted a bit so that we were looking at each other, and then he brought me in for a kiss. He was gentle, but the feelings that churned inside me were not. I deepened the kiss and started to kiss him desperately. A few minutes passed while we shared kisses on the couch. It could not have been more perfect. Just then, my phone rang, pulling us out of our little bubble. I glared at my phone and wanted to throw it away for interrupting our quality time. It was also an unknown number calling me at that. "Hello?" "Please do not hang up," a voice I knew all too well said. That had been the voice that had sung me to sleep when I was just a little boy. The voice that had called me when I scraped my knee, and the same one which had cursed me. I was frozen. "Mother?" "My son. Please do not call me that. You lost that right a long time ago." "I guess that's fair enough. We heard you had been discharged from the center. How are you doing?" "Please do not act like you care. Tell me what you want," I said. "We want to see you." Her voice sounded so defeated. But I forced myself to harden my heart. After the words they had said that day, I did not have parents anymore. "Please do not call this number ever again," I said. I was about to hang up the phone when she started crying. I have always had a soft heart. There was something desperate in her crying, which I could not ignore. "Fine, tomorrow at 12. I'll send you the address," I said. I hung up. I'd be lying if I said that I was prepared to see my parents. They had aged in the years since I had seen them. My father now had a walking stick. The look on their faces when they saw me was one of elation. It felt like I was meeting the parents who had loved me in the past. After getting through the usual formalities, we talked. They told me that they had both been raised in a certain way and that their views were backward, and our town was not as progressive back then. "It is difficult to teach an old dog new tricks, my son. It took until a few months ago for us to finally be able to see that we were in the wrong. We are sorry," my mother said. "The both of you hurt me. You have always showed me with love and care, but on that day, all I felt was your hatred," I blatantly said. Unearthing those past wounds hurt. I do not want to lie. Being in the same room as them was so damn difficult. "We are sorry. We should have been better. Your life went down the drain because of us," Dad said. "No, my choices led me there," I admitted. "Yes, what my parents did sucked, but I had chosen drugs on my own. I had thrown my whole life down the drain." "We still had a part to play," my father insisted. "In the end, I forgave them, but it took a while for my relationship with them to return to normal. And during that time, I saw more of them. They surprised me when they told me that they had been reading and learning more about the LGBTQ community. I was a bit nervous to introduce my boyfriend to them, but I was surprised to find out that they had met in the past." "Wait, this is the young man who helped us get in contact with you," Mom said. "Oh, really?" I said, looking at him. He simply gave me an innocent look. I was glad that he had gone behind my back and gotten into contact with my parents. Months later, we were making a lot of progress in repairing our relationship, and I was falling deeper in love with Sam every day. He inspired me to be a better person every day. I applied for law school, and if I passed the bar, I would start going to school in the following year. It was a bit late for me to start, but he convinced me not to let go of my passion. My parents were very friendly during the dinner, and they seemed to get along with him, which was a relief. All was not roses in my life, because I still faced difficulties that made me consider returning to drugs again. But when that happened, I reminded myself that they were not my friend. As we were about to leave, I got a message from Kirian. "Not coming home tonight, going out with someone." Finally, he had been talking to this girl for a while, and I had been nagging him to ask her out. I decided that I did not want to sleep at home either. I wanted to spend the night with Sam. I had slept over at his place before, but we had kept it PG, so it was not new for me to sleep over. Hey, can I sleep over at your place? I asked. And Kyrian won't complain about you abandoning him? He asked. It was a running joke that Kyrian could not live without me. We had grown super close in the past year. Actually, I'm taking this opportunity because he's on a date, I laughed. Sam smirked as he pulled out of my parents' driveway. I could not help reminiscing over the past as we drove. I had come so far from someone who had lost all hope in life, to having a good job, a good place to stay, and most importantly, someone who loved me. I never thought I'd be able to get out of the mess that I was in. We arrived at this place a few minutes later. He made coffee for himself since he is pretty much a coffee addict, and I just had some juice. I had quit liquor along with drugs, even though I never had a problem with alcohol, but I guess I just wanted a more sober lifestyle. We exchanged a bit of banter while we each had our beverages. Babe, you have to come with me to karaoke night. Kyrian and Emma are going to be there, so it'll be a double date, I said. You know I do not sing, he rolled his eyes. Just say that you do not love me, I pouted. Such a big baby, he laughed as he made his way over to me. He tried to kiss me, but I turned away. Honey, come on, look at me. He did not give up. I looked at him begrudgingly. Are you mad at me? He asked as he looked at me in the most adorable way ever. Of course, I melted and I brought him closer to me. He started to kiss me softly, but I wanted more. I had been considering it for a while now, and that night felt like it was right. We stumbled out of the kitchen while trying to keep our hands on each other. When we entered his room, he placed me gently on the bed. I love you, Darian, he said as he kissed my hand. I felt his love in every glance, every touch. I did not think I could fall more in love with him, but boy was I wrong. I love you too, my Sam. I kissed his neck. We did not say anything else, just explored each other's bodies as if in sync. Then we made love to each other. I'm not exaggerating when I say that I've never have felt such a connection to someone during sex before. It's so different when you're truly in love. His body and mind connected, and I was not on Earth for a while. All I felt, saw, heard was him. Then we collapsed next to each other. We were silent for a while as we came down from that high. My whole body was buzzing with pure electricity. How could it be that a single human being could hold my entire heart in his hands? I love you so much, I said. I wanted to shout it from the tallest building. I will go to karaoke with you, he said. He might as well have said that he loved me with the way that I reacted. I hugged him so tightly that he complained that he could not breathe. This is so wonderful, babe. I was thinking that we could do a couple song. What do you think we could sing? I asked. He sighed and sank into the sheets. I heard him mumble something like, what have I gotten myself into? But when I asked him about it, all I got was a nothing, come over here. And who was I to deny? Sometimes bad things happen that take away everything that we have. We reach a point of despair and it feels like we will never be okay. Bad habits never fix our problems, they just make us forget. But I learned that it's never too late to change and get your life on track. I am deserving of love, we all are, no matter how much we loathe ourselves. The war within us can be won by the most powerful weapon in the world, love. The end. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to be part of our Rainbow Force and stay wholesome.